in. There's no way I finally caught a stream. Well, I'm so glad you managed to actually catch one. Today, we are starting, and I feel like I need to move my webcam a bit. I always unplug it after stream, and after I stream, and I always end up putting it in a different space than I usually do it. A slightly different space than I usually do on my second monitor, and it always looks slightly weird. So yeah, so today, slightly. There we go. I think that's better, slightly. Today, we are starting. Oh wait, this is me trying to sort out my webcam and where I should place it. I should just leave it in the same place for all my streams, but now I should feel like I should move it back over this way. Problems of being a Twitch streamer. The thing is, I don't like having my door in frame, and so it feels weird. It feels weird to have my door in frame. But then, if I don't have my door in frame, then it'll cut like this part of the sticker wall that's currently not filled. I mean, and this part as well. But then again, this sticker wall is just continuously unfinished. I haven't bought any new stickers in a little while, so yeah. I feel like I need to buy like a big pack. There's actually in the Home Bargains that's near my uni, I could just go in and buy some from there. I should have signed this out before stream, really. Good enough. Yeah, today. I can't remember if I ever said what we're doing today. Today we're playing more Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Specifically, we're starting the last case. Now, this isn't the last piece of Great Ace Attorney Chronicles like content I'm gonna do, because if I switch over to here, so the Resolve of Ryunosuke Naruhodo is the last case. Well, if we go over to here to special content, we have the escapades, which are kind of shorter little episodes that we could just read through. And I think that I looked this up earlier, and I think these are like 20-minute long, like 15-20 minutes long-ish. So we could do the entirety of these escapades in like 1 or 2 streams, and just read through them, and just entirely read through them on like 1 or 2 streams. So yeah. But yeah, after we finish the Resolve of Ryunosuke Naruhodo, then so after we finish the last case, I'll be taking a little. Probably won't play the escapades for a while. Maybe it depends. I don't know when I'm gonna play the escapades. Go through and play the escapades. But yeah, the escapades I don't think are too long. And yeah, so I mean, maybe I could play the escapades, go through and play through the escapades this week if I manage to finish this case on Wednesday. I doubt that's gonna happen, because I'm looking through. So there's 4 parts to this case. There's 4 parts to this case. We're gonna probably get the first 2 parts done today. That being the first trial and the investigation, and then we have I'm trying to start my mic. Then we have the last trial, which is split up into 2 parts, and those last 2 parts of the trial are decently long. So I don't know if we're gonna do maybe one part on Wednesday and then one part on Friday or not. It depends. But yeah, so this week we're gonna be playing the Resolve of Reno Skin Naruhodo. And then next week we're gonna be doing the DLC case for Do Destinies. I'm trying to mess about with my mic. But yeah, I think that should be fine. Because I've got my stream up on my computer, and I'm trying to make sure that the audio sounds decently fine. I think that just if I have my filter in front of my mic, like here, then it should be fine. I'm gonna turn the audio down slightly. I'm just gonna be messing about with my audio a little bit. Yeah, I think that should be fine. This is the deal when you're streaming and you have to deal with audio issues. Yeah, let's just get into the Resolve of Reno Skin Naruhodo. So yeah, let's go. Let's go. The final chapter. The Resolve of Reno Skin Naruhodo. Ooh. We are in the Defendant's Antechamber. This comes off of, directly off of the Twisted Camera and his last bow. It's the same case, so we're still defending Barak Van Zeeks. Because he has been accused of the murder of Inspector Gregson. So, the time has finally come. Today, we'll unravel everything. I'll be counting on your support more than ever today, Miss Psssttt. Miss Psssttt? Another Psssttt takedown. Oh no, what's the matter, Mr. Naruhodo? Nothing. I was just saying that I'll be relying on your support today, but I'm so sorry, of course. I know I can be rather incompetent at times, but I shan't let you down. Would you mind helping me to my feet then? Oh dear, I'm really very sorry. Psssttt isn't her usual self at all, but that's hardly surprising, I suppose. She's just found out that her father is the partner of a world-famous detective, not to mention... Good morning, sir. It's Barak. Lord Van Zeeks. Thank you for all your efforts yesterday. Oh, did I hear that correctly? What? Oh, no, nothing. Just, I hope we can clear things up today. I really can't make this man out. His face says I hate you, but his words are almost jovial today. In fact, he hasn't been very Reaper-like at all since this all began yesterday. Lord Van Zeeks isn't the Reaper, Mr. Naruhodo. Good point. The Reaper? I suppose in hindsight, I shouldn't have allowed that misconception to go unchallenged. Huh? It was my tacit acceptance of that pseudonym. My failure to stop the Reaper becoming something more than a mere legend led to all of this. We don't to blame for that, Lord Van Zeeks. Yeah, someone was killing these people after the trial. It's only because serious crime in the capital dropped off so sharply when the public started calling you that. That's why you didn't say anything, isn't it? To be frank, I'm not sure that was the sole reason. What do you mean? There was a rumor at the time that the Reaper was really the ghost of my late brother, the ghost of Clint. That having been slain by that evil killer, Clint's restless spirit returned as some sort of demigod to wield a deadly blade of justice where I, by dint of the law, could not. Yeah, we've heard that story too. When I lost him, I felt as though I'd lost my guiding light. I didn't know where to go or what to do. And so, in some small way, I wonder if perhaps those rumors made me feel his absence a little less keenly. knew it was just an illusion. Just some nonsense conjured up by an over-imaginative public. He was obviously extremely important to you. Lord Clint Van Zeeks. Well, what's important now is uncovering the truth. That's all that matters. I know you didn't take anyone's life, and I intend to prove that beyond a shadow of a doubt in court today. I don't know if I'd say this, but I can see in your eyes that burning desire to cut through all the lies and deception. I can't deny it any longer. You are a liar of absolute integrity. Thank you. Now tell me, why do I detect the scent of expensive tea leaves in the air? Iris! Oh, Iris, when did you get here? Oh. I brought you one of my special blends. Hurley loves it. He says it helps him to clear his head. I thank you. Oh. That's surely the first and last time I'll ever see a sight like this. You seem different today, Iris. Oh? Sort of subdued, I suppose. I am not. What happened yesterday is obviously still playing on her mind a lot. She's clearly very troubled about having stolen that autopsy report from Dr. Sife's laboratory. Alright then. Good luck to you both. I have to make a move now. Oh, you're not staying? I thought you'd want to watch today's proceedings. Well, I like to cheer you on, obviously. But I've got lots to get ready. Get ready? For what? Oh yeah. Would you take this? Isn't that one of the little felt dolls that's usually dangling from your knapsack? Yeah, it's a lucky charm. A little Hurley that I made once. A Hurley? It looks more like a Hurley to me. If for some reason you completely run out of options in the trial today, then just pull his little Hurley's ears as hard as you possibly can. What? Pull his ears? That's right, it's a way to bring good luck. I think you might need it. Okay. You think what we'll need is luck? I just need to peek inside the courtroom. And it seemed very different to normal. Yeah, it would seem that a certain someone has decided to pull out all the stops. What does that mean? What is he talking about Casimir? What about Mr. Sholmes, Iris? I don't know. He was out all night and he hadn't come home by the time I left this morning. Oh, I see. Was Professor Mikitoba out all night too, do you think, Mr. Sato? Yeah, it would seem so. I telegrammed the hotel this morning. And apparently they didn't come back to their rooms last night at all, and my webcam has gone out. They? Shishiro and Yuji? Father and Judge Jigo? Why can't I say his name? That is such a simple last name. Jigoku, I mean. Judge Jigoku too? That's right. Nobody appears to have seen either of them since yesterday. That's weird. Counsel for the defense and the defendant. Court is about to be in session. Please make your way inside the courtroom at once. Good luck then, Runo. Good luck, Susie. Yeah, thanks, Iris. And you, Mr. Rika. I hope it goes well. Once again, I thank you for the delicious tea. It was very soothing. Oh, I'm so glad. We must go inside now, Lord Van Zeeks. Also, when I was making the VOD for the last Greatest Study stream, I may have spoiled myself on who Iris's real father is. It's not either slight spoiler. It's not either Eugene or Wilson. I mean, we kind of knew it wasn't John H. Wilson, but because we kind of talked about that and how it was actually Eugene that kind of wrote all the reports, and that John Wilson just kind of signed them off. I mean, we did kind of suspect that we did kind of suspect that Eugene was her father, but I don't think that he is. Lord Van Zeeks has always been the formidable prosecutor I've had to lock horns with in court, but not today. Today I battle with another in pursuit of the truth. And why is my webcam being weird? My best friend, Kazuma Asogi, who I trust more than anyone else in the world. Now I understand what it was that drew me here to Britain all those months ago. Now I know exactly what destiny had in store for me. As I'll be leading up to this one day, to this one trial, to this one final reckoning. Oh yeah, because he's thinking about going back to, oh my nose, it's so itchy. But he's thinking about possibly going back to Japan after this trial, because I think Eugene mentioned it, about going back. It feels even more oppressive here than it did yesterday. The cold stairs placing me like knives from all sides today. Ah, Mr. Mercado, look. What's wrong? Why is he residing over the trial instead of the Old Bailey judge? Instead of our normal judge, he did the trial for what was it? Twisted Karma in his last bow. He's done the majority of the trials. The only trials that he has done is the very first trial and the trial for the adventure of the Blossoming Eternity. Those are the only trials that weren't prosecuted by the Old Bailey judge. And those were resided over by the Old Bailey judge. So it was Sishiro Jigoku that resided over the adventures of the Blossoming Eternity and the very first trial. Not the Old Bailey judge, but the majority of the other trials have been presided over by the Old Bailey judge. All the cases that have been set in London, set in England, have been presided over by the Old Bailey judge. So why is Strongheart here? Kazuma must have known beforehand. The ramifications of this trial now extend far beyond the murder of one Scotland Yard inspector. In fact, events have come to light that threaten to rock the very foundations of our country's legal system. The escape of a condemned criminal on the night of the execution, the subsequent unlawful shooting of the man, that being the professor, and the revelation that prison staff must have been complicit in the jailbreak. Britain is currently hosting influential members of the judiciary from countries all around the world, that including Sishiro Jigoku and Eugene Mikotoba. It is imperative that we uncover the truth in these proceedings to avoid international embarrassment. By royal decree, this will continue to be a closed trial, and one over which I, Male Strongheart, exercise total and unequivocal authority. That is like a kind of cool. That looks. This kind of like angle looks fucking sick, man. It looks so fucking sick. And do we have a jury? The 6 jurors' flames. As was the case in yesterday's proceedings, those here present in the public gallery are distinguished members of our judiciary, assembled to bear witness to a fair judicial process. In other words, a collection of your acolytes, Lord Strongheart. On a personal note, I find this most distressing, Lord Van Zeeks. You are a prosecutor of exceptional talent, much like your brother, Clint, in fact. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session for the trial of Baron Van Zeeks, who officially stands accused of murder. Counsels for the prosecution and defense, are you in full readiness to proceed? The defense is ready, my lord. As is the prosecution. Yesterday's proceedings brought to light a shocking and disturbing fact. there was a side to the victim, Inspector Tobias Gregson, that was unknown to his superiors at Scotland Yard. Yeah, he was carrying out operations in secret, which Scotland Yard knew nothing about. And in those clandestine operations, he had an accomplice, Mr. Bailey Vigil, who would be given the inspector's identification and present himself around the capital in order to establish credible alibis for Gregson. In that way, Gregson appeared to be carrying out his regular Scotland Yard work, when in fact he wasn't. At the end of yesterday's session, Mr. Vigil, who had been suffering from amnesia, regained his memory. It would appear he buried his memories of the time deep inside himself as a means of self-preservation, because whilst he was engaged as chief warder at Barclay Prison, he abetted the convict's escape, the convict being the professor. Mr. Vigil is currently recuperating at St. Sinners. He's recovered enough to give a signed statement about his movements on the day prior to the incident. He's formally admitted to posing as Gregson whilst investigating the Red-Headed League. Which brings us to the crucial issue of the victim's time of death. The defense yesterday proposed a suggestion that the victim may have been killed one day earlier. This was based largely on the discovery that the victim's pocket watch had not been wound. And we did actually speak, I remember that we did actually speak to Maria Gore in Twisted Harmony's last bow, and she did say that the body, Gregson's body had been potentially frozen, and so the process of decay may not have the process of decay may have been delayed slightly, and so it is possible that he was, killed quite a little time, maybe a whole day earlier than what we thought. The prosecution has something to report on that subject, my lord. Really? Go ahead, Prosecutor Asogi. I met once again with the coroner yesterday to discuss the issue, Maria Gore. She confirmed that the defense's suggestion could not be ruled out. It's entirely possible that Inspector Gregson was killed on the 31st of October, the day before his body was discovered. I have here an updated autopsy report that includes the amended details, but the official opinion of the investigation team was made clear yesterday, that the time of death was 5 p.m. on the 1st of November. There are indications of an attempt to disguise the real time of death, however. It seems that the natural decaying process of the victim's body may have been slowed by keeping it chilled. That is out of the question. There are no refrigeration devices in that part of London large enough to accommodate a human corpse. My lord, this is more than just conjecture. There's evidence to support the idea. We must investigate it thoroughly. Very well. The court will accept the new report as evidence. However, if this updated report is deemed to be accurate, it will give renewed significance to the movements of the victim on the day before the Fresno Street incident. It would, yeah, especially since on that day, Inspector Gregson was using Mr. Vigil to cover up his real movements. It's conceivable that he was killed in the course of his secret activities. Do I sense that the prosecution has some information regarding those activities? Shit. Scotland Yard put an enormous effort into investigating that precise matter yesterday. I think we should begin by presenting the results of the investigation work. So the prosecution calls its first witness now. And our first witness is Gina. State your name and occupation for the court. Inspector Gina Lestrade reporting. A representative of Scotland Yard. I'll sell a self-conferred rank, but never mind. Gina? Again? What's your problem, Otto? What's with that, Gina? again. Look at it. The boss meant the world to me. He done more for me than anyone else ever did. Oh, Inspector Gregson, you mean? Why is my webcam being silly? He got me out of the back slums of the East End and took me under his wing. Told me that life can have a purpose. So that's why I'm the best person to be standing here speaking for him. Oh, Gina. Right. The goodness of Gregson's art. Not at all that he had his arm twisted by Mr. Sholmes, no. What's relevant to these proceedings is that the outcome of Scotland Yard's investigations yesterday has revealed that the victim was carrying out some assignment the police knew nothing about. Very troubling. That face. Lord Strongheart knew. So, Inspector Lestrade, let's hear exactly what it says in that report. Coming right up, sir. I need to clean my glasses. They fucking hell. My glasses get so dirty within like minutes, and it's the worst. It's honestly the worst. Good enough. Okay, first I want to go through the evidence because I haven't looked at the evidence in a little while, in like 2 weeks. So we have the Red-Headed League article. Talks about the death of Ezekiah Hopkins, and then the photograph of Mr. Vigil, and then the letter of introduction that Professor Megatoba gave to us to give to Caden, to Governor Caden, who's like the governor of the prison. And then we've got the dismissal notice that was given to Vigil 10 years ago, he lost his job as chief warder, which his wife, Evie Vigil. I don't know why Daly, that's his name. I don't know why I keep forgetting Daly Vigil's first name, but I never forget Evie Vigil's first name. But yeah, this is a picture of Evie Vigil that was found on the desk at the scene of the crime. And then we've got this candelabra that was like shot. That was, this top of the candle here had been like blown off essentially at the crime scene. And then we've got this red hairpiece that presumably belonged to Gregson. And then we've got this revolver that was the murder weapon apparently. It was found at the crime scene. And then we've got this policeman figure that was actually a key. And why is my webcam being like this? I'm turning my fan on. The fan on is this. It is slightly warm in my room, so I'm gonna turn it on. And then what else do we have? Why does it do this? Why are you like this? And then we've got this photograph of why? And we've got this photograph of Clint Van Zeeks, Bart Van Zeeks, and then Inspector Gregson. And then we have the autopsy report, which has been updated. So, name Tobias Gregson, age 45, nationality British. Time of death indeterminate. Evidence suggests measures may have been taken to disguise the time of death. Victim was shot in the chest at close range from the front, resulting in instant death. Scorch marks at the point of entry. The bullet exited the body from behind. The caliber of the gun used matches that of standard issued firearms for members of the judiciary, which was one of the main points that got Barrett Van Zeeks arrested, because he's a prosecutor and he would have been given a gun. And coincidentally he had lost his gun at around the same time, or close to around the time that Gregson would have been shot. Then we've got the crime scene floor plan of the crime scene, basically, of the flat on Fresno Street that Gregson was killed in. And there's the candelabra there behind Gregson's body. Okay, I'm gonna unplug and re-plug in my webcam, and hopefully that sorts out this. Sometimes it's just silly for no reason. And then I've got this notice board that was found in the crime scene, at the crime scene. And then there was this bloody hand, because it was like knocked over, right? And so somebody put their hands like when it was knocked down, like this, it was like facing, it was on the floor like this. Somebody had like went back, I can't remember who, and like put like had their hand that was covered in blood, and put their hand like backwards, like as if they were like sat backwards and like crawling. I don't know how to explain it, but you know. But yeah, they put their hand backwards on the notice board, and then we've got these firecrackers that was given to us by Venus, and these give off the same if you like set off like 100 of these, I think, of 100 of these like individual firecrackers, then they give off the similar noise to a gun. And then this is the photograph of Gregson when he died. Back, let's see. And I've got Gregson's pocket watch that he wound every day, and that policeman like little figure thing that was the key. That was the one that was used to wind up this pocket watch. And then we've got this inspector's identification. That was Gregson's identification. And then we've got this photograph of Sishiro Jigoku, Rinosuke Naruhodo, Susato Mikitoba, and Eugene Mikitoba. And then we've got the Sogi papers, the last will testament of Genshin Sogi that Mr. Vigil claims disappeared after the convict's execution. Apparently Mr. Sogi took it as the only weapon he had left. I, Genshin Sogi, hereby request that upon my death, any and all material possessions and wealth belonging to me in London be delivered to my son, Kazuma Sogi, in the Empire of Japan. It is with deep sadness that I accept my fate in this foreign land, in the knowledge that I will never see my homeland or family again. I regret nothing about my chosen path. And then I got Gregson's trunk, which I don't think we actually opened this. Can we open this? Let's have a look inside. Okay, what's this? No, there's something inside. Oh, let's see. It appears to be a passport authorizing him to travel overseas. Was Inspector Gregson about to go on a trip abroad then? Perhaps the day of departure might tell us something. That was, what is it? It was for travel on the 31st of October, just one day before the incident. What, really? Is issued for travel to France? Oh yeah, because he was supposed to travel to France. Gregson went to France the day before his body was discovered. He was supposed to, anyways. Then with this slash mark here. Have you seen this huge gash across the side of the trunk here? It's gone right through the leather and into the metal behind. Gosh, for a metal chest like this to have been so badly damaged. Whatever made the gash must have struck the side of the trunk with considerable force. I wonder how it happened. And then what else is there? Oh, there's blood on it. What's there blood on it? Look at this dark stain here. Do you think? Yeah, I'm afraid so. I think it's blood. I knew you were going to say that. So that presumably means that this was present at the scene when Inspector Gregson was killed. It's the most logical conclusion, yes. So I think Tina's been carrying this around with her. If you didn't know any better, I suppose it does look like a grease stain from all the fish and chips. I guess so. Is there anything else? I don't think so. No. And then we got Clint's autopsy report. Name Clint Van Zeeks, 33, British. The time of death, the 31st of May, between 9 and midnight. Death from a single stab wound to the heart. other superficial external wounds indicative of a duel. Recent scarlet ink stains visible on the little and ring fingers of the right hand, but no document in corresponding ink was found. Vital evidence recovered from the victim's stomach during the autopsy. Credit to Inspector Gregson for petitioning so doggedly for the autopsy procedure. No internal trauma noted anywhere in the body. Okay, that was signed by John H. Wilson. And then this is the little lucky charm that Iris gave us. Let's pull the ears. What a charming little rabbity version of Mr. Jones. Do you suppose this is how Iris sees him? Are you alright, Mr. Naruto? Your eyes are veritably boring into the poured out eyes. Oh, sorry, I was just wondering. What do you suppose would happen if I were to tug its ears along my might right now? I'm sure that we will find out when the time is right. To become a proper gentleman, you must learn stoic patience. But I want to know. Yeah, we should know. I want to know too. But we'll learn when it's ready. And I got the passport that was found in Gregson's like case thing. Name Tobias Gregson. Passport number ACDO522. Within 1 week from the 31st of October. Port of Dunkirk, France. Police business. Permission for the applicant and one additional person to travel. So I assume he was maybe planning on taking Gina with him to France, because like she was kind of being trained under him. So yeah, we have Gina's testimony now. All your detectives are supposed to follow orders and investigate what they're told. But a little search at the boss's office turned up a notebook that had a lot of secret meetings in it. According to that, the boss was looking into some smuggled goods deals that day. Looks like it was a big job and all, but the coppers weren't on it yet. What matters most is there's witnesses what saw the Reaper at the place too. Someone saw the Reaper there. Smuggled goods? I don't know, do I? I'm just telling you what's written in the book. Tobacco, tea, spices, medicine. Goods of all sorts flow into London by illegal channels from across the globe. It's well known that they're disposed of at regular black markets that take place in the capital. But the police are rarely able to locate them in time. So Inspector Gregson was investigating one of those black markets. It's really suggesting that high-ranking government officials may be involved in black market activity. Maybe as well as you, Strongheart? No doubt Gregson was trying to avoid details of his investigations being linked to the involved parties. That would explain why he was operating on his own authority without the Yard's knowledge. And do we know where the dealings were taking place this time? In a particular room of a certain exclusive London gentleman's club. And on the day in question, the accused is known to have been there. That's a conclusion of Scotland Yard's investigation into the matter. That can't be. We haven't heard anything about any of this. Members of the club have testified to it. There's no question. The accused, Barrett Van Zieks, was present. That would be very significant testimony then. Oh right, but Lord Van Zieks has made no mention of this at all. In short, Lord Van Zieks has had an ample opportunity to murder the victim. Very well then. Counsel for the defense, begin your cross-examination. Cross-examining time. I didn't wait to go in the court record then. It is going to options to save. Let's see.
Hold it!
Tell us more about this. Let's ask about more of the smuggled goods and stuff. Do you have any idea where those dealings were taking place? Yep. It was all down the boss's nose. Let's see if I can remember. As I already said, the illegal dealings were due to take place at a gentleman's club. Yeah, I remember. But I was hoping to find out the name of the club. That won't be necessary. What? It is conceivable that the club might be used again by the smugglers in future. Therefore, the prosecution has been asked not to reveal the name in these proceedings. I don't know what all this fuss is about. It's right here. All I gotta do is read it out. And I could too. I've got this reading game buttoned up now. Can I show you what I can do? Go on, what's the The judge hasn't signalled his objection yet. I could try to figure it out. What should I do? Yes, I want to know the name of it. This is a close call. The proceedings are confidential. There shouldn't be any possibility of the information being leaked. As I explained, there is a possibility of politicians being involved in this affair. The prosecution is rightfully exercising caution, I imagine. But we need to know. No, my lord. The prosecution has no objection. Casimir? There's no question that Inspector Gregson was looking into these black market dealings. However, it's not yet been established that he was on that particular trail on the day in question. If the defense requires to know the club's name, the prosecution has no intention of being obstructive. Right then, I'm just show off my reading skills. Apparently the smuggled goods deal was going to happen at a gentleman's club called the Grouse. Okay. Okay. Look at this. Oh, it looks like this is some sort of steamship ticket. Well, yes, this Grouse. Yeah, this. Similar name. And I suppose that Professor Mikotoba and Judge Jigoku came from Japan. That's how I heard of it somewhere. It called at Dunkirk on the north coast of France for a night before finally arriving in Dover. I think it's been almost a year since we arrived in Dover on the SS Burya. Seemed a shame not to keep your tickets and memento of the trip, do you think? Yeah, I agree. I have mine safely in my diary. And I keep mine in my wallet, so I have it with me at all times. Oh well, how strange. Where could it have gone? Are you like this on purpose, Mr. Naruhodo? Did I imagine it, or was that comment accompanied by a little sigh? Okay, I'm presenting this.
Objection!
I've read about these clubs that exist here in Britain. As I understand it, they're places where well-to-do gentlemen socialize with friends and colleagues. Don't you imagine for a second that a foreign student like you would be admitted? Seriously, is your nerve cracked or something? Yeah, you're both from Japan. Do you know for sure that the contraband dealings were definitely happening at a club called the Grouse? The police are currently looking for evidence, but I haven't found anything definitive yet. And I'm sorry to say that they probably won't. What do you mean? What do you mean by that? I mean that the place Inspector Gregson was secretly going to visit on the 31st of October may not have been a gentleman's club at all. You're showing a very irreverent attitude towards our country's police force there, Counsel. If it wasn't a gentleman's club, then what was it? A steamship? You think it's a ship? I have the evidence to prove it. Here. Let's see that. This dark-suited young man is not in the least bit untrustworthy. The other side, my lord. Be more specific next time. This would appear to be a ticket for passage upon a steamship, yes. The SS Grouse.
Objection!
What's your objection for? So there's a steamship named the Grouse that happens to share a name with the club. I'm afraid to say, there's a flaw in your logic there. How? Look at Look at the ticket. Notice the date of arrival in port. The ship arrived at the port of Dover on the 1st of November. The day on which the sound like a gunshot was heard on Fresno Street. In other words, on the day in question here, the 31st of October, when the victim was on his clandestine mission, that ship hadn't yet docked on British shores. That would certainly make an undercover investigation somewhat challenging.
Objection!
Okay, explain. The fact that the steamship hadn't yet reached Britain substantiates the defence's assertion that the victim was investigating the SS Grouse on the day in question. Then show your evidence for that assertion. Very well. We have his thing that we found in the case. In that case, counsel for the defense, present your evidence to the court now. Evidence that substantiates your claim that the victim was investigating the SS Grouse on the 1st of October. We have this passport. What's this? A passport for travel issued to the victim. Date 31st of October. Dated 31st of October. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting that just one day before the inspector's body was discovered, there's a distinct possibility he wasn't even in the country. Order! This document is for passage to France. It doesn't appear to have been officially authorized. A day before the SS Grouse arrived at Dover, it docked on the northern coast of France for a night. According to my father, he was on board at the port of Dunkirk, France. What could possibly have taken the victim there? I'm impressed. Were you not scared now, Huddle? I certainly didn't expect you to get your hands on that passport. What? You mean you knew about this? The prosecution strategy for this trial has been laid down by the court prosecution office. On the day before the incident, the victim was investigating contraband dealings at a London club. That's the outcome of Scotland Yard's investigations and the line the prosecution has been asked to follow. But personally, I don't agree. I think the prosecutor's office is trying to hide something. What? And now that you've expertly disproven that assertion, I intend to reveal what I believe that something to be. Why are you playing at Prosecutor Sogi? A courtroom is a forum for the truth, my lord. Which is why it's my duty to present all the facts without exception. Let me guess. This was your intention from the outset, wasn't it? The reason Inspector Gregson secretly made his way to the steamship docked in France on the day in question was to carry out a mission for the Reaper. The Reaper? What does he mean? What on earth are you saying, counsel? The prosecution made an assertion in court yesterday. Inspector Gregson was investigating the identity of the Reaper. When he discovered the location of the man's secret hideout, he was killed, as I'm sure everyone can imagine, by the Reaper's hand. But in reality, the truth is the opposite of that. What? Inspector Gregson wasn't investigating the Reaper at all. He was in fact acting for the Reaper. So, he's saying the mission he was undertaking was, obviously, an assassination. Okay. Barak van Zeeks never carried out any of the actual killings. Whenever the Reaper's victims lost their lives, he always had a cast iron alibi, which tells us that he must have had an accomplice. And you claim that was Inspector Gregson? What the hell do you think he's saying? My boss would never have done nothing like that. And yet, when you consider all the facts, it all makes perfect sense. No, it can't be. We also arrived at the same conclusion, didn't we? That Inspector Gregson was operating as the Reaper. Even so, there's no way that the person giving him his orders was Lord Van Zieks. No, the Tree Reaper is somebody else. Barak Van Zieks is not the Reaper. A predictable response from someone who's advocating for the man. And even if it's true that Gregson was operating, and I did not read all of that, so got this history thing. And even if it's true that Gregson was operating as an agent of the Reaper, the suggestion that he went aboard the SS Grouse on an assassination mission doesn't follow at all. Oh, you have some solid reason for doubting the assertion, do you, Counsel? Absolutely, it's very simple. On the day in question, nobody was killed aboard the steamship. Professor Mikotoba and Judge Jigoku were on that very ship. If somebody had been assassinated, I'm certain we would have heard about it from either of them. What's so funny? You're right, of course. No suspicious deaths were reported on board the ship. But I think perhaps you've missed the point. That's precisely why Inspector Gregson himself lost his life. What? Gregson did board the SS Grouse that night with the intention of dispatching his mark. But his mission ended in failure. Failure? It seems that the defense hasn't yet grasped a very important detail here. What are you talking about? What detail? Inspector Gina Lestrade. What? The victim's notebook that you read an excerpt from earlier. That doesn't contain details of secret investigations at all. It describes 10 years of assassination plots to be carried out by the Reaper at the Bailey. You're lying! Even if all them bludgers what got taken out had it coming, the boss weren't the Reaper. Poor Gina, I feel bad for her, man. There's no question that Tobias Gregson was heavily involved in the Reaper's activities. You may just be an apprentice, but if you spent any time at Scotland Yard, you must have heard rumours. I ain't done nothing, and I don't believe a word of it. Then testify again. As a representative of Scotland Yard, consider it your chance to defend your boss. I concur. The witness will give a new formal testimony. Miss Lestrade, you will tell the court everything you know about Inspector Gregson's secret notebook. Yeah, this notebook does have a lot of stuff about what the Reaper got up to these past 10 years. Names of victims, dates and places and stuff. And the last entry in there was the 31st of October. It said grouse for the place on that date, and then the name of the mark. There was a note about him being a criminal what got away from the Reaper in court 10 years ago or something. But honest, the boss didn't do none of it. It was just investigating the Reaper, that's all. I feel so bad for Gina. I feel so bad for her, man. Keep personal opinion out of your testimony, witness. We require only established fact here. This must be so hard for her. You can't deny it now, surely. Ryunosuke Naruhodo. What can't I deny? The notebook contained the name of the final mark and the location where the assassination would take place. And in 5 minutes. That's information that the victim could only have known if he was working with the Reaper. Ah. So, who was to be this final mark? Go ahead, Inspector Lestrade. Read the name for the court. The name that's written alongside the entry that mentioned the grouse on the 31st of October. How do you read this then? Reading's still not her strong suit. That ain't the problem, alright, Otto. It's a funny name. It ain't English. It's hard to read. So it's someone from overseas? Let me have a bash at it. Say... Is it Shiro? Yeah, Sishiro. Sishiro Jigoku, the judge? Maybe? What? It can't be. Sishiro Jigoku? But that's Judge Jigoku. Shishiro Jigoku. Certainly not an English name, you're right. But that can't be right. I know Judge Jigoku, and I saw him the day before yesterday. He here in London. So I know for a fact that the man hasn't been assassinated. As I said, the Reaper failed. Oh. Gregson missed his chance to kill his mark and return to British shores. But the Reaper wouldn't tolerate the mistake, so he killed the inspector. Personally. The Reaper, of course, being the accused, Barack Van Zeeks. It's an undeniably logical argument. Kazuma, you planned for the trial to go this way all along, didn't you?
Hold it!
Barack? Pray forgive the discourtesy of filling my hallowed chalice whilst I stand accused of murder. Always filling his glass with wine. Lord Van Zeeks, the accused has no right to speak uninvited in court. You will return to the dock. I say nothing of whether or not I'm the Reaper. That's the task of this court to decide. But there is one thing I can say unequivocally. That girl is no detective. Eh? What? No, that's right, I ain't. I'm an inspector. Repeating rumours heard around the yard. Reading entries from a notebook of unconfirmed origin. That's not testimony, it's practically a script. No doubt the rest of this trial will go exactly as you've clearly planned. Your hatred of me is understandable. In your mind, I'm sure I am the Reaper. You sent your father to the gallows all those years ago. Oh yeah, it was Barack that prosecuted the professor trial, and the professor was revealed to be Genshin Asogi, Kazuma's father. So Barack got a guilty verdict for Genshin, and then got him executed. But you're in danger of becoming a far more sinister Reaper yourself by attempting to have me condemned with this feeble excuse for testimony. What did you just say? Mr. Naruhodo, this is our chance. My lord, the defense requests that the defendant is be allowed to speak. He may be privy to important information related to the testimony just given by the witness. Very well, I'll make an exception and grant the request. The defendant may remain in the witness stand for the cross-examination. Then allow me to toast the court's impartiality. Don't raise your glasses in my direction, sir. Counsel for the defense, begin the cross-examination immediately. At once, my lord. Cross-examination time. I need to save. There we go.
Hold it!
In other words, it shows that Gregson was basically acting as the Reaper. No, you're not. That ain't the only explanation, is it? You could have been investigating the Reaper in secret, and that notebook said what you found, if I may. I distanced you, by the way. When originally people began referring to me as the Reaper, I didn't object. I believe the power to intimidate London's criminal classes into compliance with the law to be beneficial. But you carried out your own investigations into the true identity of the Reaper, didn't you? Yes, and those investigations proved conclusively that Gregson was one arm of the Reaper. One arm? What are you on about? The Reaper's victims were all extremely shrewd criminals at the top of their game. There's simply no way one person could have taken them on alone. The Reaper is an organization with you as its head. I had spies at the yard keeping me abreast of Gregson's movements. Let me know when he was elsewhere. The ad has started. Whoa, 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 whoa. I have such a stuffed nose. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I need to stretch as well. God. But yeah, I don't believe that Barack is the Reaper. And yeah, it was most likely multiple people, including Gregson, going around and killing these people. Like, there was probably at least 2 people, like, going around and killing these people. Because if you think about it, it was like, what, 16 out of 19 of the people who have been found not guilty in Barack's trials that had died. So yeah, there's probably multiple people like conducting these to try and get Barack like convicted somehow. I mean, maybe not convicted directly, but like maybe it was like at the back of their mind, but like because maybe their first priority was trying to get justice for like the families of the victims. When I don't know. So I've been able to check the most recent entry in his book and knew the location. You knew it was grouse? You knew it said grouse? Believing it to be a reference to the gentleman's club, I went there on the day in question to investigate, alone. So that explains why several members of the club claimed to have seen you there. But of course, the inspector was not there, because at the time he was making his way to the steamship docked on the northern coast of France, as shown by the passport found in the victim's metal trunk. Very well then, back to your testimony about the contents of this notebook. Fine. Is something wrong, Mr. Naruhodo? You seemed a little shocked by something a moment ago. Oh, no, it's alright. I'm overthinking this, aren't I? Let's just press all the statements and see what happens. Names of the victims, dates, places and stuff. What in particular? Well, besides the victims' names, this other name kept cropping up. What other name was that? It's the one I told you yesterday. The same name written over and over again. You mean Assassin? Yeah, that's the one. She's a friend of yours or something, isn't she? Were you even listening yesterday? Assassin. The assassin. What? Like a killer, you mean? I have just realised the pun of her name. I have just realised that her name is literally Assassin. 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 If you literally take away the H, it literally says assassin. What, like a killer you mean? Gregson was the tactician, the one who came up with the plan of attack. He investigated the maps thoroughly, finding out when they would be vulnerable and who used to get at them. But the person actually executing his plans was someone else, you're saying? If that's true, then the Reaper does indeed start to sound like an organised group of vigilantes. Then perhaps when it's said on the passport document, permission for the applicant and one additional person to travel, could that additional person have been clearly the assassin who was meant to take Sashiro Jigoku's life? Why can I never say Jigoku like fine on the first try? I can never do it. Gina, can you confirm that against the final entry that listed Grouse and Sashiro Jigoku, what name was written? Oh, well, that's the only entry that didn't have a name next to it as it happens. What? It just had like a question mark or something there, I think. In other words, Gregson himself didn't know the identity of the assassin in that case, but Gregson was the one making the plans, was he not? Oh, how infuriating. a nameless assassin. I mean, Assassin went by 2 names. She went by Giselle Brett and Assassin. So maybe you didn't know which one to use, or just she didn't introduce herself to him. And he's saying that the name the mark listed was Sashiro Jigoku. That's what it said. Funny name if you ask me. And I thought your name was odd. That's why he calls him Otto. So pleased I've lost my crown there. Mr. Jigoku is the presiding judge of Japan's Supreme Court of Judicature. I remember the man. He came to our country as a visiting student 16 years ago, studying international law and diplomacy under your tutelage, Lord Strongheart. That bearded young fellow was a very able man, I must say. So, Lord Strongheart was Judge Jigoku's mentor. And if I'm not mistaken, he returned to Japan 10 years ago now. 10 years ago, after that fateful case. Precisely, the Professor case. In the aftermath of the Professor case, his repatriation was organized immediately. It's a mystery why such a man would be listed in the inspector's notebook. I didn't think it was possible, but the mood here in A's got even worse now. Maybe I'll just keep talking. Yeah, probably for the best. Probably for the best.
Hold it!
What do you mean a criminal? Judge Jigoku is no criminal. Well, don't ask me, I don't know nothing about it. Oh, do you remember what Father told us? That Judge Jigoku did once appear in court hearing in Britain. It was related to the Professor case, I'm sure. Yeah, of course, you're right. Sashiro tried to mitigate Genshin's guilt, so he took to the stand to testify. But he got a little carried away and actually managed to break the witness stand. He also said some contemptuous words about the British Empire, for which he was charged. It was a pitiful situation, yeah. I'd forgotten all about it, but I prosecuted that trial too as it happened. You did? It was considered to be an adjunct to the Professor proceedings, you see. But he was acquitted after being told to make reparation for the damage caused to the stand. And there you have it. Have what? Surely the accused hasn't forgotten his own rule, that there's no saving anyone who faces the Reaper in court, guilty or innocent alike. What? No. Are you suggesting that the reason Judge Jigoku was targeted for assassination? The man was sent to Japan immediately after that trial. The Reaper had no time to do his work. But then, 10 years later, the mark returns to Britain once more. Perhaps now you can see, perhaps now you start to see just how vindictive the Reaper is. Come on, that's absurd, to take someone's life for that. Isn't the whole premise of the Reaper absurd? Killing those who have been found innocent? Clearly the rules by which the man operates are beyond the same person's comprehension. But what about the 3, I think, people who, have not been, killed? Because again, out of the 19 people, I think. I can't remember, I don't know if I'm making up these numbers or not, but I think it was 19 people who had been acquitted. 16 of them were killed, one of them being McGilded. And then there's 3 people who are not, been killed after the trial, after being acquitted. 2 of those being Suseki Natsume. Oh wait, there's 3 people. The 3 people, Suseki Natsume, Gina Lestrade, and Sashiro Jigoku. Those are the 3 people that have not been, killed after being acquitted. But what's the objection for? Right, I've had just about enough of this, Gina. All this nonsense about the boss planning to kill people? It's cobblers. Come on, Otto. Yeah? ain't you saying nothing? Why? Why ain't you yelling out objection or something? What? You're gonna find a flaw, you do usually. Someone's lying there, no question, you've got to work out who it is. Please. For the boss. I feel so bad for her, man. I feel so bad for her. That outburst was an insult to the court and to your own testimony. I might have known that common pickpocket from the back slums couldn't make a detective. Why are you being so mean to her? She doesn't deserve that. When this trial is over, you will forfeit your warrant card, Mr. Lestrade. Exactly. Why are you... That's not fair! That's not fair! I haven't even read the lawyer. It's like every bleeding place you look at in this world, isn't it? Well, I've had enough. Gina... Why are you strong about being so mean to Gina? Oh my god. So have I. After that little speech of Gina's, I made up my mind. To do what, Mr. Narahara? There was one point in this cross-examination when something that was said just didn't sit right with me. One statement that felt odd. Oh, do you mean... I'm not gonna let Gina's please help fall on deaf ears.
Hold it!
I want to thank you, Gina. You helped me find my resolve. Eh? What do you mean? Amongst everything we've heard during this cross-examination, there's one thing that defies explanation. One inconsistency. What? An inconsistency? Really, I don't quite know what it means yet, but yeah, there's an inconsistency. It's something that was said by
Take that!
By you, Kazuma Asogi. Me? Is this some attempt at filibustering counsel? Prosecutor Asogi has given no testimony. What are you suggesting I said that was inconsistent? You let something slip that you shouldn't have. When I present the relevant piece of evidence, I imagine you'll realize what you've done. Very well then, counsel. Go ahead. What evidence reveals this alleged inconsistency in something Prosecutor Sogi has said?
Take that! This
is a truck that belonged to Inspector Gregson. A metal construction, is it? It's certainly very heavy. What's this? A bloodstain. And a relatively fresh one too. What? You mean that ain't grease on the boss's fish and chips? Fresh blood on the inspector's trunk. That suggests that the victim was travelling with the luggage when he was killed. That can't be. There's no mention of any trunk in Scotland Yard's report. Yeah, there's a reason for that. Immediately after the inspector's body was discovered, one of the street peddlers made off with the trunk, hoping to sell it. But I found it, me, with a nose for trouble. Which means that nobody should have known anything about the trunk. Unless, of course, we're talking about somebody who was present when the victim was killed. And yet, during the cross-examination of the witness just now, you said this, Kazuma. Because at the time, he was making his way to the steamship docked in the northern coast of France, as shown by the passport found in the victim's metal trunk. Oh yeah, how did he know about that? We were the one who found it. So the question is, how did you know about the inspector's trunk? Yeah, Kazuma. We know the man went on a trip to France. Where else would he have put his passport? In his pocket? Folded up in his pocket, being near with a metal trunk. Answer me honestly, Kazuma. On the 31st of October, where exactly were you? At the port of Dunkirk on board the SS Grouse. Is that the answer you're looking for? Real estate? Kazuma, what did you? What was he doing there? I hadn't considered the possibility before, but if Kazuma was on the ship, then It can only have been for one purpose. Oh no, Mr. Naruto, surely you don't think. Come on, Yunosuke. You know the rules. The only thing that really talks in the courtroom is hard evidence. As I understand it, Inspector Gregson always took that case with him when he travelled. So as it stands, you've proven nothing. Kazuma. Are you challenging me to prove it beyond the shadow of reasonable doubt? That you were there that day, in the same place as the inspector. He was there with Gregson. There's a clue that you overlooked, a secret that Trump can tell us. Can't be sure at this point. I'll need to verify it. But I have a nasty feeling that I'm going to be right. The accusation being made is deeply disturbing, but nevertheless, we must test it. The defense will identify to the court where the Trump's alleged clue is to be found. Where's the evidence that ties Prosecutor Asogi to Inspector Gregson? Open this up, let's have a look inside. Here. Ish. Do you see that? There's something stuck in the side of the trunk there. It's glinting. It looks like a fragment of metal of some sort, but it's wedged in so tightly I can't remove it. Well, don't cut yourself. You'd better leave it, I think. So yeah, let's set that. There's a small piece of metal lodged in the wall of the trunk here, like the tip of a blade. A blade? And who do we know that carries a blade around? Kazuma, slung around your waist as ever today, is the esteemed blade Karama. Of course it is. Won't you draw it here in this courtroom? For all to see. Yeah, show us. Exercise caution, my learned friend. That man is the son of London's most notorious killer. Bailiff, watch Prosecutor Asogi with a hawk, like a hawk even. That won't be necessary. Huh. That's kind of not sharp? Oh no. The tip is broken. If the fragment of metal from the trunk fits together with the end of the sword, the question of who was there with Inspector Gregson will be answered. Agreed. Kazuma Asogi? Yeah, come on, Kazuma. What are you on about? What are you up to? Expertly done, Yunosuke. That's a point to you, and well deserved. And do you mean to tell the court, Prosecutor Asogi? Yes, on the 31st of October, I accompanied Inspector Gregson to Dunkirk in order to carry out a mission. So the additional person authorized to travel was Kazuma. Was me. And the mission was the assassination of the Mark. What? So Kazuma is he involved with this Reaper thing as well? You mean you're the killer whose name was omitted from this notebook? You are following the Reaper's orders to dispatch Judge Jigoku. Let me make one thing perfectly clear. I have killed no one. Explain. I accepted the assassination mission, yes, and I accompanied Gregson to Dunkirk, but I never had any intention of carrying out the plan. You're never gonna do it? We can believe Kazuma-sama, I'm sure. After all, Judge Jigoku arrived safely in London the following day. On the 31st, I boarded a train from London with Inspector Gregson. We travelled to Dover, from where we crossed the Channel to Dunkirk. Then we boarded the SS Grouse and made for the cabin deck as indicated in the plan. You went to Judge Jigoku's cabin? Exactly. He wasn't there though. We decided to wait, but you've already told us you had no intention of going through with it anyway. I didn't come to Great Britain to take anyone's life. So I left Gregson and disembarked the ship. I spent the night at a boarding house in the town and returned to England the following morning. A boarding house? In Dunkirk? My signature will be in the register book. It would be simple enough to verify. Then, what became of Jigoku? Gregson was no assassin, so the mark was spared. I'm sure it's easy enough to imagine what happened after that. Gregson returned to England as well, having failed to complete the mission. He met with the Reaper in that room on Fresno Street to report the failure, causing the infuriated mastermind to pull the trigger and end his wretched agent's life. That's the real truth behind Inspector Greggson's murder. But if you did nothing as you claim, how did the tip of your sword come to be lodged in the inspector's trunk? Yeah, what happened with that? I don't need to answer that. No, what the fuck? The victim was killed by a gunshot. A small fragment of a Japanese blade isn't relevant to the case. And accordingly, I choose to exercise my right to silence on that matter. Why was it there? Why the fuck was it there if he was shot? What did you do, Kazuma? Be that as it may, the court will sequester the sword as evidence. As you wish, my lord. Okay, Karuma has been added to our court record. We must take immediate action now to verify whether Sashiro Jigoku remains unharmed. What? Remains unharmed? I agree. That should be our first priority. It's recently come to my attention that he hasn't been seen since yesterday. How did you... When a foreign dignitary invited to Great Britain goes missing for 24 hours, it's only natural that the question of his safety should arise. You don't mean to say... Do you think Judge Jigoku may have been killed? The Reaper has more than one assassin at his disposal. And he has the power and influence to give orders from the inside of a prison cell. Isn't that right, Lord Van Seeks? If I were truly the Reaper, I'd be able to tell you. Order in court, order. We will take an emergency recess for 30 minutes. Now, guests of the symposium have been told to maintain regular contact with the organizer's office. If the man can't be located within half an hour, we'll have to assume the worst. Oh no, not Judge Jigoku. No one would want to kill a harmless Japanese man who'd only just arrived in the country. Except that is... for the Reaper, wanting to finish off a mark that slipped through the net 10 years ago. I would have to agree. Mr. Naruhodo, for the defense's sake, my lord, I sincerely hope we are successful. If we're unable to confirm Mr. Jigoku's healthy existence in the next 30 minutes, you will face grave difficulties. Court is adjourned for 30 minutes. Okay. Oh, an empty courtroom looks weird. This is what I think. This is what happened in I can't remember the case. When Kazuma first got his memory back, and when it was literally just Rinosuke, Susato, Barok, and Kazuma in the courtroom, that felt so weird. But now it's just Susato and Rinosuke. It feels even weirder. Kazuma-sama, the Reaper's assassin. I feel as though I'm in a nightmare. I can't hardly believe it either. But on the other hand, Kazuma isn't in the habit of making up stories. I have such a terrible sense of foreboding. If something awful had happened to Judge Jigoku, then I feel as though things will only spiral further and further out of control. I felt it from the moment I stepped into the courthouse this morning. That strange sensation that we were careering towards a foregone conclusion. Well, in the worst case, we might only have 30 minutes left. Unfortunately, though, I don't think there's anything that we can do but wait now. We're out of options. Actually, there may be one last hand we can play. Or rather, one last air. Of course, the little Mr. Shows doll that Iris gave us. If for some reason you completely run out of options in the trial today, then just pull this little Hurley's ear as hard as you possibly can. Perhaps now is the time. What should I do? Pull Hurley's ears or not? Yes, we should do that. Here goes then, I'm going to do it. Good luck, Mr. Naruhodo. No looking back. Heave. Ow. That scream. Sounded like Mr. Sholmes. Mr. Sholmes, where are you? Hey, my dear fellow. Hey. It's the felt doll talking. Pull the ears again, Mr. Naruhodo, as hard as you can. Alright, I'll put all my strength into it. Heave. Ow. Please, my dear fellows, you don't need to pull my ear off. Mr. Sholmes, where are you? Where are you? Myself and my trusty partner are presently in the first-class cabin of the SS Growls. The SS Growls? She left Dover last night and after the final pieces of cargo were loaded. We are currently docked at Dunkirk, but due to be underway again in half an hour. We've taken a ship to France. Please, even with my athletic prowess, I would struggle to jump the Straits of Dover. After we left Baker Street last night, we hurried by cab to the station and by train to the port in order to board this vessel in time. So, you mean you'd already worked it out? That the steamship was where everything really took place? Mr. Naruhodo, pray, what is my name? Sherlock Sholmes, world famous detective. Whoa. Recited to perfection. Well done. You're a genius, Mr. Sholmes. That's the only word for it. Ow! Mr. Sato, gently with this genius's ears, please. Oh my, I'm ever so sorry. So these little like dolls are actually just like little like robot-y things, I guess. Like little robot walkie-talkies that Iris made. She's such a fucking genius. And also, Iris is just a genius kid. Like she has a medical, like she has a degree in like medical science or like forensic science or something like that. At the age of 10, she's a genius. Have you met Jones? There you are, Victober. You may remember that it was in fact I who made the connection to the SS Growls at Scotland Yard yesterday when we examined that notebook and I recalled my steamship ticket. But of course it was, my dear fellow. And not once did I controvert that fact. I merely had our court-bound companions utter my name. Yeah, you did, didn't you? We've just entered a recess. The trial resumes in 30 minutes from now. And if we're unable to present any new leads, then I'm afraid to say, please, it's for precisely that purpose that my partner and I have made this journey. I have no doubt that we shall have welcome news for you within the half hour. Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. That would be wonderful. Until later then. Yes, you'll be hearing from us if you're not in touch first. Oh, I shan't be hearing anything if you keep taking my ear in that mindless fashion. Whatever was the idea behind making a receiver operating in that way in the first place, Sholmes? Well, at least what I know, it's Iris' invention, not mine. Of course it's Iris' invention. Else I know how much you enjoy being the hero of the hour, Sholmes. We have about half that now before the Growls puts to sea again. If we don't conclude our investigations rapidly, we shall find ourselves in Naples before long. There are times, Mikatoba, when you make a surprising amount of sense. So, let us begin. Someone from the SS barrier case. First class cabin number 2. Yes, this is the one. I don't believe an investigation of the cabin is going to be plain sailing. That crewman standing in the front of the door is an angry looking fellow. Why you are loitering here? Who are you? My dear fellow, do you not recognize a world famous great detective when you see one? The question really ought to be, who are you? Do you not recognize world traveling great sailor, a chicken stroganoff when you see? He literally has Sholmes' his name on his arm, and he doesn't recognize Sholmes. Great detective? Ha, I don't think so. Do you see that, Mikitoba? It would appear that this man is a devoted follower of mine, and yet you don't recognize it. Shame. Goodness me, is that a tattoo that says Sholmes? I must say, whilst such adoration is flattering naturally, it does leave me a bit cold. What are you talking about? Leave now. How distressing. My loyal devotee knows me only by name and not by appearance. And yet I already know a great deal about you, sir. You have a brother, I believe. Like yourself, he's a shipman, currently traveling the world aboard a Russian steamship, in fact, the SS Beria. How could you know this? Elementary, my dear Mikitoba. I'm sure it was. 3 days ago, I was bound for London aboard this ship, you see. We're looking for one of my fellow passengers, a man by the name of Jigoku. There is no one with his name on board, but we know that he purchased a ticket for passage. Ah, you mean Easterman. He left ship 2 hours ago. Here at Dunkirk, it said something about emergency, I think. What? Are you sure? So Shishiro's realized that we're after him, has he? His cabin is the one behind you. We should like to investigate, please. No, I have orders not to let even mouse inside. Mikitoba, be a good man and draw the sailor's attention away, would you? Make up some excuse so that he leaves the area. Does a great detective see that even sailors have ears, both left and right? Curses, the plan is ruined, and you have only yourself to blame, I'm afraid, Sholmes. Forget it, cabin door is locked. Even if I am not here, you cannot get inside. The steamship doors typically lock from the inside, don't they? Mikitoba, I'm sure you haven't forgotten my special talent, have you? Opening any lock? Within a mere 5 seconds. So if you'd be so kind to inform me the requisite time, old friend, you're typically accommodating typically accommodating fashion. Manner even. How can I refuse such a typically unappealing request, old friend? So I need to distract that barely sails for 5 seconds, do I? Good man. So, the game is afoot. Examine that is the only thing we can do, really. This would appear to be an alarm bell. All hell would break loose if that thing were to ring. The whole crew would know about it. Just set it off. Here goes then. Pardon me in advance. You! What are you doing? If we were at sea, that would be a very bad problem. What's going on down there? Seaman Stroganoff, report at once. Sir, nothing to report. It was just a stupid trick. No, not by me, a world famous, no, as I told you. Now Sholmes, now. Done. Not even 5 seconds, eh? Well, don't stand there gawking at my brilliant speaker, but in we go. Oh, yeah. In we go. In we go, go. Okay. Good gracious. It appeared that the occupant of this cabin did indeed disembark rather hurriedly. Those clothes on the floor, lad, they're Shishiro's without question. Well, it seems we're just a little too late. Yeah, by about 2 hours. Still, whilst we're here, we should investigate thoroughly. There may well be 2 hours worth of clues to find in here. But that burly crewman may return at any moment. Indeed he may. Which makes this all the more thrilling. Examine. Okay, why is this stuck in the speaker thing? There's a speaking tube here, look. There's been stopped with some cloth. So the devices of the crewmen on the bridge aren't an annoyance, I suppose. Or indeed, some of the devices in this cabin aren't heard elsewhere. Could something have happened in here that was not for no one else's ears, do you think? Either that, or it could be to prevent snakes from entering. That's really becoming a favourite case of yours, hasn't it? Okay. Quite the exquisite glass, I must say. See here how it... Is something wrong, Sholmes? You suddenly trailed off. Ice, Mikatoba, ice. What opulence the first-class passengers enjoy? Chilled drinks. Pardon? Could it be that the steamship is equipped with an electrically refrigerated cold room, do you think? Well, it is a luxury liner after all. They have enormous refrigerators for storing all sorts of lavish produce as well as ice. On our voyage from Japan, we enjoyed culinary delights from all over the world. But wouldn't the ice have melted if he's been gone for 2 hours? Suddenly, Mikatoba, the sight of you is making my mouth water. I haven't taken on the flavour of the food I ate, you know. That is weird. This is the waste paper basket, look, and there's still rubbish inside. Indeed? Then let us pry. I discovered recently I have a penchant for exploring the contents of others' waste paper baskets. I sincerely hope only for your work. What is it, Sholmes? Here we have a notice issued to passengers from 3 days ago. 3 days ago? The night before we arrived in London then? We're now still aboard myself. Following departure from the port of Dunkirk, all crew members are required to assemble on the main dock, and I did not read all that. Oh yeah, that's an evacuation drill, I remember now. For our safety and security, all first-class passengers were constantly under the watchful eye of the crew. Do we have that? We can't open the court record, so we don't have that. So it was a welcome relief to have some privacy phones. Okay, that's been added into the court record. Let's see this. That's a very sizable trunk indeed. So Sherwood is partial to all things large, and a rather clumsy fellow if he failed to notice he'd left that behind. Perhaps he left it on purpose. It's lighter than you might think, but still a hindrance to a speedy escape. Pity. It's locked, so we can't look inside. Surely 5 seconds from now, the situation will be quite different now? Sadly not. It has a 7-digit combination lock. But I'm not in a morose enough mood to work through all the combinations at present. These are the rules of passage. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabin. Pets are also strictly forbidden. Additionally, there are several severe punishments for stowing away in wardrobes and or travel cases. I feel the rules have increased since I last read them. Probably just in my imagination. Because Ryunosuke was a stowaway. But on the fact that they're not straight on the wall, doesn't that strike you? You may be right. Probably just your imagination though, a trifle. And I always say, Mikatoba, there's nothing important about trifles. It's probably just my imagination, but I think that might be slightly off. Okay, let's go. Let's get need to look around. The wall is a slightly different colour just here, do you think? You see? Indeed, what you have observed arises when a frame that has been hanging for some time is removed. Perhaps your friend is an art thief. Now there's a bold deduction worthy of a great detective, I'm sure. He may very well be the elusive thief who has been plaguing France's galleries of late. I think perhaps we should focus our attentions elsewhere, Sholmes, don't you? That outline on the wall. I feel as though I might have spotted something of a similar shape and size elsewhere. Uh-oh, Stroganoff. You are still here? Able Steven Stroganoff. Hello again. I was beginning to think you'd never materialize. You're waiting for me? Of course, I was expecting you to burst in with a hearty Russian profanity far sooner. I was in trouble with... what? I was in trouble with Captain because of the trick you played before. Poor innocent chicken. It's all your fault. Ship is leaving port soon. Get off. Now. Of course. We shall disembark presently, my dear fellow. There's something that must be done. What are you talking about? Why, naturally, the debunking of your deceit and the bearing of the truth. Kakoi? I'm afraid I see through your lies. For one thing, Mr. Jigoku has not yet left this vessel at all. And for another, Madame Seaman Stroganoff, you know exactly where the man is even as we speak, don't you? How can you... Good gracious, Sholmes. You mean you've worked it out? All of it? It's really been too long, hasn't it, old friend? 10 years, no less. Okay, because that's when Mikotoba basically got kicked out of the country, got sent home to Japan because of the professor case. So, would you care to join me for a dance on my inimitable logic and reasoning? Nothing would please me more. What is this? We'll have 4 minutes until the vessel puts to sea. No games now. The time is of the essence. Mr. Stroganoff, allow me to remind you of your earlier claim. You told us that Jigoku left the ship some 2 hours ago. That is what I said. Sadly, that was a rather clumsy lie. You see, there is something in this room that quite clearly contradicts it. What? Yes, of course. I see you've noticed it too, Mikotoba. Then please, do take the lead. What in this cabin shows the impossibility of Jigoku having disembarked 2 hours ago. Let's see what the last 3 years to have done to your observational skills then, Mikotoba. It's been 10 years since we last did this, Sholmes. Not 3. Well, of course it has, quite. Now, all the clues are here in this cabin for your eyes to see. But as I always say, you must not merely look, but observe. Observe and the answers become clear. So, impress me. I think I can manage that. And that would be the glass of ice.
Take that!
There's no joke there. Perhaps you should have cleared away that glass. I'm curious that the ice shouldn't have melted, despite it being abandoned 2 hours ago. It would appear that the man was here in this very cabin until moments before our arrival, with this very well-chilled glass in hand. Get your mind off the refreshments, Sholmes. One might even conclude that somebody informed him of our boarding. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Stroganoff? But why would Toshiro run from us? Before we consider that question, allow me to confirm one small matter. Would I be correct in saying that these first class cabins of the SS Growls are the same ones in which you and Mr. Jigoku were accommodated on your voyage from Japan? That's right, they are. I was in the cabin next door, and Toshiro was, yes. 50 days in this very cabin during our voyage, as I suspected. So you see, there are traces in this cabin of a dark secret Mr. Jagoku had to hide. What traces? I know nothing about this. This is news to you, is it, Mr. Stroganoff? Sholmes, what exactly are you getting at? As I said, there are traces in this cabin of some nefarious activity. Something that appears out of place, which I'm quite sure won't have escaped your notice. Something out of place in it? That's the key to this, Mikitoba. The remnants of the dark deed that took place in here being masked by something quite incongruous. I must say, I didn't foresee ever doing this dance of deduction with you, Mikitoba. No, quite. But life is full of unexpected twists and turns, as we will know. Now then, let's see if I can't uncover the truth here. Yes, you're off the floor, my dear fellow. Rules of passage.
Take that!
I keep forgetting it's R, not space, to present. It's the rules of passage in this frame here. They're obviously out of place. The way they're hanging crooked on the wall, as if they were put there in a hurry. Yeah, as I'm sure you've already concluded, that frame was originally over here. The shape and size are a perfect match. That, you're right. When did frame move? How did he... You did yawn. Probably the most observant of human I am, Mr. Stroganoff. I think your captain is quite justified in having his reservations about your reliability. Oh dear, that really seemed to touch a nerve. So, Mikitoba, why don't you lift that frame off the wall? There's a hole in the wall. That looks like a bullet hole. What? Who's been shooting walls? I see. The projectile has been removed. Clearly the careful occupant of this room has already disposed of it. Now then, Mr. Stroganoff. I have the distinct impression that you're attempting to shield said occupant. I don't know what you're talking about. Why would I try to protect Eastern Stranger? So we're talking about the same man, I see. Good. I'm sure we can get to the bottom of this in no time, aren't you? Because there's some very noteworthy evidence that explains the reason why you're lying for the man. Yeah, you've been told to keep up this pretense as clearly shown by... I really don't know how to approach this one, Sholmes. My dear Mikitoba, simply keep first principles in mind. Study your subjects from every angle, and I'm quite sure that you'll see it. In fact, I'd put a wager on it. Some to glare at the fellow from all sides? Well, I can certainly do that. So if we just... He has money. He has money.
Take that!
He's been bribed. He's been fucking bribed. It's almost too obvious for words. Quiet. The universal language of the world. Money. And we did that the Eastern fellow in question is how can I say his name? Sashiro Jigoku, yeah? So I presume you realize what this means? There are clear signs that a crime has been committed in this cabin. And the way you're going, sir, you'll find yourself accused of being an accomplice. But I believe you know, Mr. Stroganoff. You know when Mr. Jigoku is hiding at this precise moment in time. Yeah, he knows. As always, Mikitoba, in matters of deduction, the furtive glance is your unfaltering ally. Yeah, I think you're onto something there, Sholmes. You found the hidden thing in this burly fellow's armor. We need only follow the man's gaze. What did he say? We need only follow the man's gaze to know where our prey is hiding. The slightest flicker of the pupils, a minutely delayed blink, Nothing escapes my attention, even that which is barely perceptible. You could hardly call this barely perceptible, Sholmes. The man's turning his entire head. It's not exactly what you described as a furtive glance, is it? It's almost too obvious. We shall let your tap of toes decide, my dear fellow. He's literally looking at the bloody trunk.
Take that!
You turned immediately to look at this large trunk, didn't you? Ah, the truth is, Sashiro Jigoku was unable to escape from the ship in time, and is at this very moment doing his best to stifle his breath inside the trunk. If he still has a breath to take, I fear he may be running dangerously low on air. I imagine he didn't count on us making a nuisance of ourselves for quite so long. I think it would be in everyone's best interest for us to open the trunk as quickly as possible. But how can we? Are you forgetting about the combination lock? We don't know the 7-digit code. The combination lock can't be opened from inside the trunk. Therefore, there must have been an arrangement for somebody to open it after our departure, of course. In short, before Jigoku hid himself inside that trunk, he must have told somebody the 7-digit number for the lock. As I'm sure you can confirm, Mr. Stroganoff. No, I know nothing about combination code. That doesn't say Sholmes, that's the code. Just upside down. Look, the S's are 5. The S's are 5s. That E is really a 6. That M is really a 3. That L is a 1. That O is a 0. That H is just a 4. Sholmes is just the 7-digit code upside down. That's so smart. That's actually so smart. So it's really 5, 6, 3, 1, 0, 4, 5. Don't move a muscle, my good seaman. I was wondering why when we first saw him, why the M looks so weird, but it's just like an oddly placed 3. Huh? Now, Mikotoba, would you be honest and open the trunk? How on earth do you expect me? It's a 7-digit number. Remember, quickly now, we have little time. 5, 6, 3, 1, 0, 4, 5. So 5, 6. Oh, is that no 5? Is that 6? That looks like a 6. Oh no, is that 0? Is that 0? That's a 3. That's a 3. And then 1, 0, 4, 5. 1, 0, 4, 5. Wait. That's a. I'm trying to look at it upside down, but it's just not working. I thought that was a 6 then. There's no. Wait, is that 2? Oh, that's a 2! That's a 2. 5, 2, 3, 1, 0, 4, 5.
Take that!
I think that's it. Added 5 minutes, by the way. Added 5 minutes. That did it. It opens. It opens. It's open, even. You had some metal, didn't you? Sashiro? How the fuck did he contort himself into that? Well, Eugene, you found me now. Sashiro. I was really hoping beyond hope not to find you here, you know? But you're not entirely unsurprised, I take it. No, quite. I just wish it was some other way. Well, are you ever going to introduce me? Your reputation precedes you, Mr. Sholmes. I've read stories of many of your exploits. Excuse my manners, Sholmes. This is Mr. Jagoku, an old friend and traveling companion. The devil is in the details, Big Katoba. I believe you meant to say your old friend and traveling companion who made the cowardly decision to flee the country without word to anyone when things turned sour. I see my reputation precedes me as well. What an honor. Well, Sashiro, are you going to explain all this? You know it all by now, I imagine. What you didn't know, of course, is that 3 days ago, on the night before our arrival in Britain, an attempt was made on my life here on this very ship by the Reaper the Bailey. Yeah, I've since heard. Because you were once prosecuted by the Reaper 1 year, 10 years ago now, mind you. And I had no idea at the time what dangerous individual he was. Anyway, when we arrived in London to find the symposium was postponed until goodness knows when, it became all too apparent to me that I might very well be targeted again. So you decided to flee the capital without saying a word to me about it? I'm afraid so, yes. Of course I realise now that I really ought to have confided in you. It's somewhat surprising, I must say. What is? Well, first-class cabins aboard luxury steamships are in very short supply. It's more than a little hard to believe that this one just happened to be available. So it says the protagonist of some colourful short stories. Well, I don't care for your opinion. The cabin, they just happened to be available, so I purchased a ticket, and here I am. I've just seen for myself the obvious remnants of that incident in this cabin. So you'd already purchased your return ticket before we even docked in Dover, had you? To prevent anyone else taking this cabin and seeing the evidence, is that it? Eugen, I have nothing to say to you. Yeah, well, in a mere 5 minutes, the ship will set off on its onward voyage and not make port again until Italy. I'm afraid we must insist that you disembark with us at once. You have no jurisdiction over my movements. We have this, Sashiro. Take it. What is it? It's a subpoena from the Old Bailey. You're a man of the law. You know what the ramifications of ignoring a document like this from the British courts would be. You came prepared then, Eugen. Come now, let's go. One moment. What is it, Mr. Sholmes? Inside Mr. Jagoku's trunk, I found this rather fascinating trinket. What is that, Sashiro? I can't help you, I'm afraid. Some small component from something. It looks like what you would put on the end of like a curtain pole. But what? I have no idea. By the look on his face, I think he genuinely doesn't know. Well, let's pocket it as a small souvenir of our brief sojourn in France. Let's go. Well, young Naruhodo, I think we've done as much as we can, I'm afraid. The rest will be on the shoulders of you and your assistant. Of Naruhodo and Susato. And it's starting soon, by the way, and it's starting soon. We're back in the Old Bailey. Kazuma Sogi. I know you, and I know you wouldn't lie. But still, there's no doubt that you're holding something back. You know more than you're saying. During the past 30 minutes, while this court was adjourned, all possible efforts were expended. But sadly, Mr. Jagoku's whereabouts could not be ascertained. We must accept this unfortunate conclusion that the Reaper has already done the deed. There's no sense in wasting any more of the court's time. The prosecution calls for an immediate verdict. No, the trial cannot end now. The art is in progress. You know what, I kind of slightly knew that Psssttt would be like kind of suspicious or have some importance in a case, have some like massive importance in a case in some way. Not like a massive importance, but you know, some sort of importance in a case in some way, because he is the only judge that I believe has been named in the entire Ace Attorney series. Like, we have the 2 judges from the mainline games. We have 2 judges from the mainline games that I've played. I believe there's another judge in Spirit of Justice that we'll get introduced to when we go to Quran. But yeah, we've got the 2 judges from the Right Trilogy. We've got welcome back from the end, by the way. And I was just saying how I kind of knew that Psssttt would have some importance in a case, because he's the only judge to have been named, I believe, in the entire Ace Attorney series. Like, our main judge, and the 2 judges from the Phoenix Wright trilogy do not have names, do not have canonical names. And there's another judge that we'll get introduced to when we go to Quran in Spirit of Justice, that does not have a name. And there's 4 judges, I think, in the entire Ace Attorney franchise, I believe. There might be another one in Edge of Investigations, I'm not sure. But from the 4 that I know about, Psssttt Jigoku is the only one. Oh, I know there is more judges. There's 5 judges. There's 5 judges that I know about, because there's the 2 judges from the Right trilogy. There's a judge from Spirit of Justice, which I haven't played yet. There's Psssttt Jigoku, and then there's the Old Bailey judge as well. So yeah, Psssttt is the only judge that I know of that has a name. So yeah, he has some importance in the storyline. No, the trial cannot end now. You're a Japanese man, Yonosuke. You should know when to lay down your sword. And you should know never to presume when the battle is won. The court has already been presented with all the evidence and heard all relevant testimony. And there can only be one conclusion: that the accused is guilty. All relevant testimony? Far from it. There's still a crucial witness, from whom the court is yet to hear a single word of testimony. In that case, call your witness to the stand at once, counsel. Yes, my lord. Tomorrow, if possible. The witness is already on his way and scheduled to arrive tomorrow. Who on earth is this crucial witness? Psssttt Jigoku, the very man allegedly murdered by the Reaper. Judge Jigoku, you found him? But the investigations of every policing resource in the capital suggest that Jigoku is already dead. How in the name of God did you find the man? He was located in France during the recess at the port of Dunkirk. Thanks to one of Mr. Herlock Sholmes' famous deductions. Herlock Sholmes. Inspector Gregson almost certainly met with Mr. Jigoku on the night of his death, because along with Prosecutor Asogi, Gregson was on a mission to assassinate the man. Which means that Psssttt Jigoku is the sole witness who can clarify exactly what happened aboard the SS Growls on the 31st of October. Well, I accidentally knocked my moon up over. Well, it would appear that it's too soon to move education at this point. The prosecution concurs. The court must hear Mr. Jigoku's testimony. No judgment should be passed until all testimony has been considered. In that case, I hereby call the end of today's proceedings. Court will reconvene at the same hour tomorrow. No objections from either side? No, my lord. No objections, my lord. We live to fight another day. By the skin of our teeth. Let's go. Let's go. To be continued. Now, I do believe we have a little bit that I do want to still go through. So, I'm going to go through this like little last bit for... I'm going to go through this little like last part. I'm going to go through this little last part. And then I believe we should be back for a trial on Wednesday. And I accidentally slipped through that. The unexpected halt of proceedings sent a clamour around the courtroom. But outside the Bailey, where Londoners knew nothing of the secret trial within, it was a typical still night. Then, at a little past 8 o'clock that evening, Mr. Sholmes and his partner returned to Baker Street. So, Sholmes and Eugene. Holy shit, that's a fancy meal, isn't it? We have returned, my dear fellows. Welcome back to Britain, and thank you for your timely help. Think nothing of it. I believe you've had an even more wearing day than Mikotoba and I know. You could say that. We were on the brink of defeat in court earlier. So, this prosecutor, Soki, had you on the ropes, did he? And he's your best friend, you say? Well, he's not really the man I knew in Japan anymore. Kazuma's changed. Oh, Mr. Naruhodo. I mean, it's incredible to think that he'd even entertain the idea of acting as the Reaper's assassin. Well, nevertheless, you must introduce me. After all, I've only ever met the young man as a corpse. Oh shit, yeah. And I only started almost a year ago now on the SS Burya. Mr. Sholmes still hasn't told us the truth about what really happened back then, about the motivation for what he himself described as a great detective lie. Now then, I must say, it's really quite a journey all the way to France. Well, it is another country, Mr. Sholmes. So, one news of Judge Jigoku. We took him to Scotland Yard. The investigating detectives there have a lot of questions for the man. Poor Professor Mikotoba. This must be quite a shock for him. Ah yes, I picked this up at the telegram office on our way home. What is it? Surely you haven't forgotten already. I put upon you for the matter only yesterday. You put upon me, Sholmes. I had to fill out your telegram to Japan and foot the bill as well. Oh, you've had a reply already? Well, so urgent though, Mr. Sholmes. Such matters can wait until later. I'm far too hungry for an involved conversation at present. Well, that's good news, because supper is ready, everyone. Ah, and what a feast it is. If I'm none the wiser, I think the trial will win already. Roast beef, kippers, stew, steak, and kidney pie, Yorkshire pudding. Tomorrow could be a very long day, so eat up. In that case, I think I'll see myself just here. This place appears to be the only one set with a helping of pheasants as well. Oh, sorry, Hurley. Not there, huh? Why ever not? Are we in set places this evening? Yeah, and that place is for Susie's daddy. For me? That's right. I made it especially for you, Professor Mickey. I see. That's terribly kind of you. It's a shame, really. What do you mean? Well, for a brief moment, I believed it. That Susie and I were half sisters, I mean. Oh. Iris? Do you mean? Yeah, I know now. I've heard yesterday. I secretly listened in to the conversation you had after I tricked you all into thinking I'd left. What? What? The misunderstanding arose because of that autopsy report from 10 years ago. But actually, it turned out that neither Dr. Wilson nor Professor Mikitoba are Iris's father. Yeah, about that, Iris. You know, I know. You can't tell me at the moment. Oh, Iris. I feel so bad for her. The pheasant is by the way of an apology. I'm sorry for eavesdropping. Oh, no, that's quite alright. Then why don't I get any apologetic pheasant? So just who is Iris' father? I suppose that's not something we'll be finding out today. So then, let us dine, while our largely pheasant-less plates are still piping hot. A fine idea, Sholmes. It all looks absolutely delicious. Eat as much as you like. There are always seconds. This could be our last chance to ask questions before tomorrow's trial. About that telegram from Japan, and about Kazuma, I can't let this opportunity slip away. Okay, let's talk to Sholmes. Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing? Surely it's abundantly clear that I wasn't brooding over Mikitoba's refusal to share his pheasant with me. Nevertheless, I felt the need to withdraw from the social circle for a while and look on with hungry eyes. Sorry, Hurley, but I cooked that pheasant especially for Susie's daddy. Even though I've played the role of father to you for far longer. Mr. Sholmes, can I discuss some things with you? Certainly, my dear fellow. I find myself quite in the mood for a spell of conversation. No doubt, you're hungry to learn more of my deep love for the game. I can probably contain my curiosity on that one. You needn't look at me in that fashion. In what fashion? It seems that before we discuss the pheasant, we have some rather unpheasant matters to discuss. I love stupid puns. Okay, let's converse with him then. The telegram from Japan. So what was in the telegram you received back in Japan then? This? I think by lucky stars it arrived in time. Record found as indicated. Duplicate follows. K. Asogi, A. Sheen, T. Gregson, J. Wilson. What? Those 4 names? We've come across that exact same list before. They came up in that unforgettable case last spring. Oh yeah, with Pop Windy Bank. What appeared to be a simple case of aggravated murder turned out to be masking monumental intrigue. Our plot involved the sale of British government secrets to foreign states. In exposing the means by which those secrets were being leaked, we deciphered a fragment of a message. K. Asogi, A. Sheen, T. Gregson, J. Wilson, which stand for Kazuma Asogi, Anna Sheen, Tobias Gregson, and John Wilson. We didn't find their names out until the case was over, and we never did get to the bottom of what they meant. All we knew was that the information had been sent by somebody in the British government to somebody in Japan. So, why are the names coming up again now? Yeah, where did the sender of your telegram discover them, Mr. Sholmes? I have here the message I had wired yesterday. Allow me to read it to you. Enter Jugoku's office undetected and investigate telegram records. I expect to find communication from Britain dated 1 year ago. List of 4 names. Need by tomorrow. Naruhodo. I sent it to a detective I know who specializes in clandestine missions of this nature. You asked Inspector Hosanaga to undertake such an onerous task for you? Oh, we haven't seen Hosanaga in a while. I love Hosanaga. He's probably one of my favorite characters from Great Ace Attorney. And in my name, I wonder what guise he opted for this time. My dear fellows, it was a matter of great urgency, you understand. Anyway, the list of names was found in Shishiro's office, as Sholmes predicted. So you mean that mysterious collection of names that was sent from Britain to Japan was... It was sent to Judge Jigoku. He was the intended recipient. I don't believe it. But that doesn't answer the question of what the list of names actually signifies. I did formulate a hypothesis about that. But without a shred of evidence, I couldn't possibly have shared it. Mr. Sholmes looks deadly serious for once. Okay, that's been added to our court record. Kazuma's death. That tragedy we had to go through on the SS Burya. It was all for nothing. Kazuma wasn't dead at all. We were completely taken in by the lie you told us. Your great detective's lie. I took no pleasure in deceiving you. However, at the time, all that concerned me was preventing the young man's study tour from taking place, whatever the cost. What? Why was it preventing Kazuma's study tour? I capitalized on the events that transpired to see that he was sent back to Japan, which obviously didn't happen. His remains, you mean? Precisely, Mrs. Sato. And then I made sure that somebody else was sent to Britain in his stead. Oh my, you mean? The arrangement between our two countries was already in place. One university student lawyer and one judicial assistant to be accommodated on a study tour. In other words, by arranging for someone else to fill the place originally intended for Mr. Sogi, I would successfully prevent the man from arriving on our shores for several years at least. Wait, do you mean to say that it was all in aid of stopping Kazuma coming to Britain? That's why you... Think back, Mr. Naruhodo. Was there not somebody who quite casually urged you to continue on the voyage to England? The terms of the study tour were negotiated by the Department of Justice in both Great Britain and Japan. In the light of Mr. Sogi's unfortunate death, I'm afraid the study tour can no longer go ahead. My dear fellows, the majority of problems have an extremely simple solution, you know. All you require is one lawyer and the study tour can continue, surely. But there is no one else with the necessary qualifications, Mr. Sholmes. We know of no other lawyer. The voyage to London still promises a good month of time. Ample opportunity, I would say, to find yourselves another suitable lawyer. So, you manipulated me. I've often remarked on the extraordinary lengths to which a friendship will drive a man. I was quite sure that you would rise to the challenge for your late friend. I don't believe it. But if it was all contrived... I mean, what happened was treated by the authorities as murder. A woman who was mistakenly arrested as the perpetrator. What do you suppose became of her? Naturally, I didn't allow the misapprehension of to have any serious repercussions. I subsequently explained everything and assisted the unfortunate soul in finding the foreign refuge she saw. I seem to remember Mrs. Sato and I had some rather strong words for her. Well, she was certainly not devoid of all guilt. She deserved every word, I'm sure. I wonder if she made it to America then. I'm afraid I simply cannot comprehend it. Why would you go to such lengths, Mr. Sholmes? Why were you so determined to stop Kazuma-sama from reaching Britain? The truth is, 12 months ago, there was already a very tangible omen of the impending tragedy, see? Oh. An omen that at this very moment in time is close at hand. An omen of all these tragic events that already existed a year ago is close at hand. We need to find out exactly what Mr. Sholmes knows. Let me present the telegram from Japan. I want to know more about that. There was no room for doubt with your instructions in this telegram, Mr. Sholmes. You were very clear that it was just Jigoku's office that should be searched, so you obviously knew that's where the list of names would be found. Keisogi, Eishin, T. Gregson, J. Wilson. But we only learned of those 4 names just over 6 months ago now, and only because they appeared as part of this top secret government communications that were leaked. That's true, yeah, but at the time you were unaware of the background. You see, those 4 names were wired to Japan. Around 6 months ago before that, approximately this time last year in fact, when you were both still in Japan. It really would be hypocrisy on my part to reprove others for intercepting state secrets, because after all, I'm perpetually eavesdropping on communications between the British and Japanese governments. You're perpetually doing what? How? Never mind the details, but you should know. No secret is safe from Sherlock Sholmes when he has designs on knowing it. Oh my, Mr. Sholmes, what a fabulous line. Now, 1 month after that list of 4 names was wired to the recipient Jigoku in Japan, Dr. John H. Wilson was murdered. As soon as I learned of the incident, a hypothesis rapidly took shape in my mind. As it turned out, I was partly correct and partly mistaken. Nevertheless, it was the beginning of all the tragic events that were to follow. Mr. Sholmes, please, tell us all you know. Tell us about these 4 names and the tragedy to which they're all somehow connected. The 4 names. As I said, when I learned of Dr. Wilson's murder in Japan, my mind immediately turned to those 4 names. Because you see, there was someone else on that list who I believe to be recently deceased. What? Who? Eishin, as it was transcribed in Japanese script. In fact, Miss Asashin, I've been saying it wrong this whole time. It's Asashin, not Anashin. That was a familiar name to me. She was a professional killer, well known among London's unsavory classes. Oh, I see. But she had completely vanished from existence several months before Wilson's murder, and came back as Giselle Brer. So I came to the logical conclusion that she had herself been killed. And accordingly, I became fearful for the lives of the remaining 2 persons on the list, Keisogi and T. Gregson. Owing to our proximity, I decided to take measures to protect Gregson myself, but I determined it would be safest if younger Sogi were to stay away from Britain. So that's why he went to such lengths to prevent his Tsuruto from going ahead. Exactly. So, you already knew who Kazuma-sama was, Mr. Sholmes? Oh yes, Sholmes and I have exchanged correspondence for years. I've recounted many tales about Asogi to him in my letters, and the news of Dr. Wilson's death, of course. So, Dr. Wilson is dead then? I didn't know. Oh, Iris. I know he wasn't my daddy, but still. That's very sad. Oh yeah, this is the first time I've heard knowing. I'm so sorry, Iris. You knew the significance of the name, obviously, but we just couldn't bring ourselves to tell you. No. But what you just told us, Mr. Sholmes, isn't completely tied with the facts. There's one big hole in your hypothesis. A big hole, Mr. Naruhodo? Ah yes. You mean about Asashin, I presume? Oh, of course. Exactly. She wasn't killed, was she? She was in Japan, posing as a visiting student under the assumed name of Giselle Brer. I'm glad you're keeping up, my dear fellow. But I only became aware of that fact 2 days ago in the foyer, however you say it, of the Great Waterloo Hotel. Ah. And upon hearing that startling revelation, the hypothesis that I'd formed surrounding those 4 names was completely turned topsy. What? Topsy? Topsy hypothesis. What do you mean when you say her hypothesis was turned topsy, Mr. Jones? I believed all 4 names on the list to be the names of victims. However, I was mistaken. Very much so, as Psssttt was a killer. So this telegram is a list of both victims and killers, is it? Indeed, and it would seem that Machine was dispatched from Britain with the sole intention of dispatching Dr. Wilson. Her visiting student status being merely a front. Which would of course explain why no motive could be determined for her actions. So the real reason Dr. Wilson was killed by Psssttt is because he was the target of an assassination. And forearmed with that knowledge, fresh consideration of this telegram puts the list in a very different perspective. What do you mean? Well, does it not strike you? There's another among the 4 who subsequently became a visiting student. Wait, you mean? Well, of course, and then you know only too well. You mean Kazuma? Oh, he did say in court earlier today. Yeah, on the 31st of October, I accompanied Inspector Gregson to Dunkirk in order to carry out our mission. And the mission was the assassination of the Mark. Young Mr. Soki accepted that mission a year ago now. Surely not. In conclusion, this document is a contract of sorts. An international agreement, one might say. What the fuck is that noise? That's a weird noise. That was a weird noise. Wait. Is it... It was my fucking music, that's why. An international agreement, one might say, detailed an assassin exchange. An assassin exchange? How could Kazuma possibly have got involved in something like that? Assassin exchange. Let's assume that we have 2 parties, each wishing to dispose of a distinct individual. Those 2 parties then make a contract to swap their respective assassination targets. That would then be an assassin exchange. So to begin with, the British assassin is dispatched as a visiting student to Japan, where she kills her target. And then the Japanese assassin is dispatched as a visiting student to Britain in order to eliminate his target. It certainly does sound like an exchange. But what on earth is the point? Don't forget, Naruhodo, that the British assassin is at least escaped conviction, thanks to diplomatic immunity afforded by consular jurisdiction. Oh yeah, such jurisdiction should be null and void under the terms of the new treaty between our 2 countries. So the fact that it was brought into play suggests intervention at the very highest levels. The highest levels? These murders were 2 sides of the same coin, linked not by the common motive, but by contractual agreement. As such, they appeared utterly unrelated. Yet in truth, the assassins were complicit in one singular devilish scheme. That disassociation and the safeguard of diplomatic immunity were, I believe, the motivation behind this plot. But wait a minute, Sholmes. If this telegram really is describing the exchange of assassins as you're suggesting, it would mean that the Japanese killer's target was never Sashiro Jigoku at all. It would mean Asogi's target was actually Inspector Gregson's. What? Kazuma was here for Gregson? So Judge Jigoku was actually the mark? Yeah, that's exactly what it would mean. I hold myself personally responsible for failing to keep the inspector safe. Mr. Sholmes. I told him of my fears and implored him to seek a transfer to an overseas position. Obviously, with the young pickpocket in tow. Yeah, Gina. Come to think of it, Inspector Gregson did mention that to us at the Great Exhibition. That he'd be transferring to the Paris police and taking Gina with him. But without informing me, he engaged in one last assignment, it seems. And sadly, it turned out to be his very last. This is too much to take in. Alright everyone, that's quite enough of all that serious talk for one day. Isn't it, Hurley? I mean, look at the time. Quite right, Iris. We must conclude our preparations for tomorrow. What preparations? Well, I think I shall make my way back to my hotel room now. This has certainly been a night to remember. Sparky, thank you for the raid. How's your stream? How was it? How are you doing? Everyone? How are you doing, Raiders? Welcome on in. If you guys don't know me, I'm Poppy. I am a variety streamer, currently obsessed with Ace Attorney. I've been playing Ace Attorney since August of last year, so almost an entire year since we started playing Ace Attorney, which is wild. But I do play some other games as well, such as Sims, Minecraft. I'm on an SMP called Oswork, and Sticky Business, and a few other things as well. So Poppy, how are we doing? I'm all good, having fun with Lords of the Fallen Randomizer. Great game. Ooh, that sounds fun. I'm doing pretty good. I'm a bit tired, but you know what? We're not too long off the end of the stream now. We're probably gonna finish off this bit of the this part of this case, and then we shall continue this case on Wednesday. So yeah, we're not too far off now. We're not too far off from the end of the stream. Thank you again for the raid. It is a bit sad though, and for context, we are playing the very last case of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. We are playing through the cases called The Resolve of Rinosuke Naruhodo, and this is just kind of tying everything together that we've kind of learned over the past 9 or 10, over the past 10, well, over the past 9, because this is the 10th case, over the past 9 Great Ace Attorney cases. And then after this case, I'm going to do the DLC case for Dual Destinies, Apollo Justice, next week. And then hopefully at some point, I'm going to do the kind of mini episodes, the escapades for Great Ace Attorney, and then we should be all done with Great Ace Attorney. And we should be the only Ace Attorney games we have left are 6 cases of the Apollo Justice trilogy left, and then we have Edge of Investigations coming out in September. So yeah, that should be fun. I mean, I like the idea of you being my daddy, because then Susie would have been my big sister. I'm sorry, Iris. I know, Iris. I was thinking quite the same thing. Were you? But if somebody like me would be worth it, I would be delighted to become your sister. What? Really? Oh yeah, without question. So you teach me other ways you know how to throw Bruno to the floor? Yeah, of course. It would be my pleasure. You didn't have to agree quite so readily. Oh, but wait a minute. if Susie's going to be my big sister, you could be my big brother if you want me now, huh? I mean, yeah, of course. If you'll have me, I'll gladly be your brother. Well done, Iris. We must always be mindful of feelings. I've raised you so well. Because being sensitive is your strong suit naturally. Right, I'm going to work extra hard for tomorrow now, because it's for my big brother and sister. What is all this talk about preparing for tomorrow? Preparing what? You'll just have to wait and see. Oh. Good looking court tomorrow. I'm expecting a sterling performance. I'll do my very best, of course. So the overnight break in the trial's proceedings became a crucial turning point, exposing new truths while posing new conundrums. That list of 4 names on the telegram in Judge Jagoku's office, and the extraordinary assassination plot in which my best friend had somehow become involved. I felt as though I'd been plunged into an even greater darkness all of a sudden. But at the same time, I felt sure I would see the light again soon. No. Because I was lucky enough to have the most wonderful family in the world standing steadfastly behind me. No. To be continued. And we shall continue this on Wednesday. We have 2 more parts of the trial left, and then that's all like the main cases for Great Ace Attorney done. So let's go back, and this is like apologist list where it would be like, do you want to carry on with this, or do you want to go back to the title menu? So we have to go to options, and I pressed the wrong thing. No, I want to go to options, and then let's see. Okay, yeah, back to title. I don't see this time. Okay, let's go back to title. Okay, I think we're done for the stream. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna raid out for today. We're not gonna raid out for today. So anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this stream, and I shall see you guys on Wednesday for more Great Ace Attorney. Yeah, hope you enjoyed the stream. All my socials will be in the About Me section or in the commands, or if you're watching on YouTube, they'll be in the description. Thank you again to Spanky for the raid, and to Wolfie for the follow. Glad you enjoyed the stream. I shall see you guys on Wednesday. See you. Bye.